This week on Arts Insight.
Unexpected opportunities for poetry.
When you stop and look at these poetries, an individual really gets the sense of community here because they see, hundreds and hundreds of tags of other people that have left their mark on the tree.
An artist who experiments across media.
My work today I call geometric illuminations. So I'm really using the geometry in terms of shapes and forms, and also illumination in terms of using lights in different ways.
Dancing towards success.
A lot of things that I've learned from here, such as the discipline and the ability to take initiative and being willing to put yourself out there, I have applied in my schooling.
And how to make a vintage television set.
I go to thrift stores, buy a bunch of crap, and I glue it together and make it look like it is an antique television from the 1800s.
I'm Ernie Manous, and it's time to get Arts Insight. Welcome to Arts Insight. Today, we're coming to you from Miller Outdoor Theater, where you can experience the performing arts unlike anywhere else in Houston. There's an exciting lineup of shows coming this summer, so stick around, we'll tell you all about them.
But first, we wrap up National Poetry Month with an outdoor art experiment that proves words really can grow on trees.
I used thousands of feet of ribbon to dress up 3 large oak trees. By creating this rainbow on these trees, there's this element of beauty and hope and happiness that are associated with rainbows. A lot of times we take for granted nature, and so by walking by and seeing this tree that's all dressed up, it creates a stopping point, and you look at it and you're like, oh wow, what is that? As a visual artist, for me, it's always about the connection that you make with the art. For me, it was creating that space that was going to be interactive. Writers in the schools was great to work with in this. We wanted to create something that was also going to be interactive that had to do with poetry.
Poetries are really the idea of taking live trees and making them interactive and personal, where people can take a tag and hang that tag onto the tree with words, their wishes, their dreams, their poems, aspirations. This tree is pretty cool. Yeah. That's what it means. I think there's something really special about sort of unexpected, playful moments for people, where they realize that there are other people out there that maybe are thinking things that they're thinking.
No matter how much time passes, we'll never know the truth. Did we make the ocean, or did the ocean make you?
Poetry is incredibly accessible. We had so many people that had expressed an interest in wanting to bring a poetry to their own school or their home, their neighborhood park. So already we have different school communities that are putting them up.
The gnawing wind strokes the land, its prowess eternally grand. It rustles leaves, through tide it weaves, and over the land it flows.
There's a connection that people can make when they feel they are contributing or putting their thoughts in the universe. And when you stop and look at these poetries, an individual really gets the sense of community here because they see, hundreds and hundreds of tags of other people that have left their mark on the tree. Having that interaction between people is the key component to us building a world that's full of hope and beauty.
You can find out more. Visit witshouston.org/poettrees.
We're here at Miller Outdoor Theater, one of our favorite places in the city. Why? Because you can see the best in the performing arts, all free of charge. Who keeps it running and keeps everything going? It's Sissy Siegel-Davis. Hello, Sissy.
Hello, Ernie. Welcome back. It's such a thrill to welcome you to Miller Theater each and every year.
Well, this year I was looking through the schedule. I always love what you folks do. This year there seems to be a new energy. It's even better than before. Where did you come up with all of this?
Ernie, each year we partner with Houston performing arts organizations and community groups who receive a grant from us, and then they have to match our grant But the bulk of our programming is all those organizations. So they come to us with the ideas. They love what they do here. They love to be able to present to the community and offer people who might never get to see their work the chance to come to Miller and catch them. So it's great quality, lots of fun, really good programming.
How many audience members come in a season?
About 400,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, amazing. If it rains during the season, could be a few less. When the year that we had the drought, we had almost 500,000 people who came to Miller Theater.
How many performances in a year?
Between 125 and 140, all free of charge. Amazing, no place else in the country offers that.
Okay, my favorite part of these interviews every year. What have you got coming this year?
Okay, this year we've got some great things coming up in May. We've got Houston Grand Opera out here with Elixir of Love. Houston Ballet is bringing back Madame Butterfly. If you have never seen the ballet do Butterfly and you've only seen it or heard it, you must come to see Houston Ballet's production. It takes your breath away.
Okay.
Takes your breath away. The end of May, it's the very, very, very popular Motown and More review. Dancing in the Street.
If you're thinking this is opera and ballet here, there's everything else too.
Goodness gracious sakes, there's everything else too. Coming up a little later in the season, we do have the Village People.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them. And as everybody says, the real Village People? Yes, the real Village People. YMCA in the Navy. I mean, it's disco craziness at its best.
I think that's July 3rd, too,
It's
right?
July the 3rd, just before the 4th of July. And of course, 4th of July, we've got the Houston Symphony with fireworks. This year, Symphony is going to end at 10 o'clock. So the fireworks will be able to start earlier than we've been able to start them in the past. So we hope everybody will come out. Usually we have about 25,000 people who come for the 4th of July. So it's a great way to spend a day with your family, be out here, picnic, have fun, and then come to a wonderful free performance. Tuts is doing Pippin this July. And then we also have the Shakespeare Festival that is the first couple of weeks in August.
Something else in your schedule? You mentioned the Village People, but then you have something called Heart by Heart. Explain that one.
Strangely enough, when I was in New York in January seeing showcases of things that we could book here at Miller, one of the shows I saw was Heart by Heart. The two of the original band members, drummer and guitar player, formed a new group. So it is Heart, it is the music of Heart by Heart. The two female singers will blow your mind.
Oh,
terrific show. Great music, it's fun. Why not? That's, yes, we have very serious work here, but so much of what we do is just to showcase the breadth of the arts and performing possibilities and share them with the entire community.
Thank you very much, Sissy.
Thank you.
Next, an artist from Minneapolis mixes unconventional media to create a unique body of work.
I love color. I'm a very colorful person, and I'm really drawn to really bright, happy colors. Different colors have different frequencies, and they have different elements of healing energy to them. So I've been using that as an idea, a touch point with my art. So yellow makes people happy, and blue makes people calm. And so I'm purposefully using that in my art. I'm a multimedia artist, and I do many different types of art. I would say I'm a 2D, 3D, geometric illumination artist. I have a swing in my studio that brings great joy to me and brings people into the fourth dimension. They put on 3D glasses and they then are now in motion, and everything is both 3D and 4D. When people come into my studio, I want them to have this aha moment. And when they look at a painting, they just see something that's two-dimensional and flat. And for years, paintings have always been just this flat element. I try with my paintings to really make them pop and have lines of energy that really come forward. But when you wear the glasses, it actually becomes 3D. So these lines are leaping out. My work today I call geometric illuminations. So I'm really using the geometry in terms of shapes and forms, and also illumination in terms of using lights in different ways. The evolution of my work really started when I had a painting show in Salzburg, and I spent time on trains with my camera. I figured out that slow shutter speeds allowed me to catch blur motion, and then I used that on my paintings. And one night I just threw one on the ground and I just grabbed my camera and I thought, I'm gonna see if I can make this thing come to life. And I just started taking pictures randomly, listening to music and really pushing it. What I saw was really amazing. Not everything was amazing, but maybe 3 or 4 images were just startling and didn't look like the painting at all, and it just was a completely new direction for me. I'll just grab one of these images and start playing with it, and I'll throw it into Photoshop and I'll start manipulating it by moving the sides and cutting and pasting and really transforming it from being just one flat rectangle image to make it into something that's much more intriguing to my eye and also more dimensional. It was a 2-year-long process of trying to figure out the best way to illuminate my work. And so I figured out a way to do dado print cuts into plexiglass and then mount these. It's a considerable amount of work, and it's also using the table saw as a paintbrush. So I've started moving beyond just doing wall-mounted things to making things that are floor-mounted or just elements that you can see without having it on the wall anymore. For the 2015 Northern Spark Festival, I created a rainbow pyramid light experience. It went through all the different colors of the chakras or the rainbow, they are the same, and also had chakra music that went through all the different colors of the chakras. And so the colors are healing and the frequencies are healing, and so the effect of color and sound and geometry can really be powerful on an individual. And so I want to create an experience that people could really be in the color field. I love the quest and exploration to create new things. And I have a gazillion ideas, and I have so many ideas that I haven't explored yet. I didn't know I would be doing this 5 years ago, and I can't wait to see what I'm gonna be doing 5 years from now.
To find out more, visit philipnoyd.com. Now, a theater in Rochester provides students with the skills to thrive on the dance floor and inside the classroom.
Dance is almost like connecting with your inner spirit. It involves you really focusing on what's happening with you from within. And many of our young people, they may not be very good with expressing verbally, but when it comes to the arts and using dance as a form of expressing themselves, spiritual development is the way I'd like to describe it. It helps them build that sense of self-esteem and confidence that because of their personality or even challenges that they may be facing in the home, this becomes like a safe haven. And I've seen so many young people come through this dance group where they have blossomed just because they've been able to express themselves through dance. If you come to one of our performances, you're going to see choreography that reflects the Taino Arawak influence, the Spanish influence, the African influence, and then modern dances to show that we have the capacity to embrace all different styles of dance. Borinquen is the original name of the island of Puerto Rico. When I started Borinquen Dance Theater, it was to acknowledge that information, and I felt that it was very important for our younger generation to understand their history, their roots, and a sense of their culture.
I knew I was a Latina, but I didn't really start feeling it until I came to dance. I would learn what it really means to be a Latina, to be strong and powerful and independent. When you start dancing, you feel that once you're on stage and you just command presence. Before I joined the company, I didn't feel like I had a place in the Latina community. When I came to Borinquen, I wasn't just searching for a place to dance, I was searching for a place to find out who I was as a Hispanic woman, because being Puerto Rican is a huge part of who I am, and Nydia really taught me to be confident in that.
It takes a lot of discipline to learn how to dance. It is very precise, it's very meticulous. You have to pay attention to a lot of things that you are doing both physically and mentally. So when you do that, it just automatically engraves itself in you, and it's something that you don't even notice that you carry over into the other aspects of your life.
The classes that I have is about rigor, it's about discipline, it's about being the best that you can be. You may not be the greatest dancer, but if you work so hard and you're diligent with trying to build your skill set, whether it's technique or presenting yourself in front of the public or just becoming more comfortable with who are you, to me that's success. You transfer that over to your schoolwork. You have no business being here if you're not taking care of your homework and you're not taking care of business at the school site. In order for them to be part of Borinquen Dance Theater, they have to maintain a GPA of 2.5 and above, and also school attendance, because I do work for the Rochester City School District as an administrator, so I have access to data. And what I see happening in our community, Latino population and African American right now, we're in a very crisis situation. So if I can have an impact through the arts, then I want to be part of that mission.
A lot of things that I've learned from here, such as the discipline and the ability to take initiative and being willing to put yourself out there, I have applied in my schooling. So by doing so, I feel like the experience that I have in school is more enriching because I'm willing to grow, and I'm as open as I am for my education as I am in dance class.
Say if I have a pretty rough day at school, I would just come here and I just dance and let it all out, and then feel better about myself because I work so hard. I like to encourage any young dancer, if they want to learn more about their history and their roots and learn more about dance and grow as a dancer, just come here. It's great. I love it here. Borinquen is really an extraordinary company. Not many dance companies make it to 35 years. We're dedicated, we're motivated dancers. The people here have inspired me. They've given me faith in myself and in my community. We support each other here. We support our goals. We work together. And with Nydia as a leader, I don't think we can do wrong.
To learn more, visit BorinquenDanceTheater.org. And finally tonight, an Arizona artist adapts thrift store finds into fictional old school television sets. He calls them televisors. They're not real antiques, but some folks think they are.
The purpose of the Televisor Museum International is the preservation, restoration, and conservation of vintage devices, historical documents, and materials, together with being a center for the study of archaic image transmission technologies from the televisor era, 1884 to 1928, which is all BS. I'm Steve Gompf, and I go to thrift stores, buy a bunch of crap, and I glue it together and make it look like it is an antique television from the 1800s. And people believe it. Basically, growing up, I was a military brat. So I was born in Puerto Rico, moved to Madrid, then Rome, then Arizona, then to England, then to Missouri, then to Germany, then to Omaha, then to Kansas City, then to here. And I've been here ever since, here meaning Mesa, Arizona. While my folks and my family was in these different countries, we'd go to a lot of junk stores or flea markets, and my parents were antique collectors, and especially clocks and stuff. So I kind of knew about the different periods of furniture and styles of of decorative arts from that experience, so that when I go to these thrift stores and I'll see a little item that I could use parts of to create, a period piece, I'll snag it. I've even used just items around the house. I remember I was building a piece, and of course, not last minute, up to the last minute, I was working on it. I actually used the plate of what I had dinner on the night before. I used that as the lens for the piece. So I'll just look for something that either looks deco or looks Art Nouveau, and kind of use that and put them together to create the pieces. I have an undergraduate degree in photography and a graduate degree in intermedia from Arizona State University. And so I'm a video artist, and this is a way that I can show video in a gallery situation. Been doing art for 30-odd years, and I cannot stop. Televisors is actually the Spanish and French name for television. And in the very beginning of the development of television, especially in England, with John Logie Baird, the Scottish engineer, he built a device that was partially mechanical, and he called his device a televisor. So I just used that name as kind of a historical reference for it. And I've actually, in some of my label information, I'll use actual historical information and kind of slant it a little bit to fit the piece. And sometimes I just totally make it up. I recently had a show called Distant Visions, Apparatus and Ephemera from the Televisor Era, 1884 through 1928, which is, 1884 is the first patented television system, Paul Nepkow, a German engineer, to 1928, which is Philo T. Farnsworth's fully electronic version of it. And these devices that I have there, that look like devices, are basically an assembly of objects that I found at thrift stores and put them together. And I put tablets, computer tablets, inside of them, and it looks like they're playing video. And what I've done to make it look like period work is take a bunch of Muybridge stop-action motion shots that he took in the 1890s and recombine them into different scenes. Accompanying the work, they'll have labels next to them that say, that talk about their significance in the development of television, who the inventor was, the country of origin, and a little snippet about that device itself. And people just believe it. They actually believe that they are antiques, and this whole thing actually existed.
It's interesting. People will come in here and they will think it's real televisions, that early form of the television. And that's what Steve is trying to create. He wants to create this fictitious history of the early television. And so when you've got this fun name, televisor, which actually is a real term, and he's made these creations based off of what his own imagination, what they would have looked like. So you're kind of almost peeking in Steve's head.
I just think that people buy the pieces because they've been fooled by them, and they want to take it home and kind of say that this is an antique, that device, and kind of fool their friends. I was actually installing a piece at somebody's house, and he called me his televisor repairman.
I think Steve is kind of a little bit of a trickster. I think he does like the tongue-in-cheekiness of it, and he wants people to take a closer look at his work, see what's going on there. He's even mentioned to me how he'd love to take it on the Antiques Roadshow and see what they would say at this creation and see what their expression would be. So I think he kind of likes the fooling value of it, and he likes to also hear, he'll sometimes come in the gallery and be here and hear what the visitors are saying. So I think he kind of wants to hear what they're saying about his work. I think that's an important part of it, an element, how people interact with his work is important to him.
I think it's evolved in that the first time I presented him, I said I collected these devices. And then I decided to come up with this museum that added an extra layer to it and added believability to it, you know, more fake stuff to make it more real. As a layer to the project, I've created a website called Teleseum.org, Teleseum.org. And it's set up as if it was a museum's website. And it's the Televisor Museum International, which the abbreviation, TMI, too much information. That's what it is, it's too much information. It presents my work as if this was a legitimate, actual, real museum that collects these devices that really kind of didn't exist. There's a little section that says, you know, on Thursday it's free for senior citizens and for students, and call us for groups more than 10, because docent tours can be arranged, but there's no contact information, there's no address, there's no phone number, there's nothing but that page on the internet. As another layer to the project, or to the artwork of it, I decided on the last show that I made to come up with a catalog that is actually presented as if it was made by the Television Museum International. Part of the premise is if people would believe anything on TV, why wouldn't they believe anything is a TV? And they do.
For more details, go to teleseum.org. From Miller Outdoor Theater, that does it for this edition of Arts Insight. For all of us here at Houston Public Media, I'm Ernie Manous. Thanks for watching, and hope to catch you at one of the shows. Bye-bye.